Felicia Michaels, my princess, has been entertaining audiences with a unique
Joey
style
Coco Diaz has
of
been rocking
provocative humor
comedy
since the
stages for
90s, all right?
15 years.
With her
You've seen him in
tongue-in-cheek,
films and
she's been
television,
exploring
but
such
his
topics
real
as the
patois,
dynamics
as
of
he's
the
fond of
male-female
saying, are the
relationships,
stories from
or
his
as we call them
past
here in
and
the
his
studio,
chaotic
dirty
views on
thoughts,
life that will make
and
this
the
podcast
proliferation
a different
of the
beast.
sensual
Raw
feminist.
pain and
She's a little
passion is how to
firecracker
really
rolled up, and that's why I
describe
love her,
this
and that's why you're going to love
New
listening. So
Jersey
tune in, all right?
animal. My friend Wendy's here, and we're going to give her quick lessons in podcasting as I took something out of her hand. Okay, you see this little mark here on the microphone? Yeah, you want to talk kind of into that. You don't want to bounce on anything. Like, I had to teach Joey not to tap. You don't want to do things like this. So or people will write in and post nasty comments.
They drop out.
Laugh?
Sometimes no, it's just the sound. I don't talk into the mic and shit like that. You know, it's a whole new week. We got a whole new set of parameters. You have no fucking idea if you know what I went through yesterday. Because I went to bed early last night. I got nice and stoned. I ate like 2 cookies from the weed store because I was burnt out on the banana bread. And I got up at 3 o'clock sweating bullets from this fucking blood test I had to take.
That's right, I know.
And I stayed up. I wrote some jokes. I looked at some emails. And at some points in the night, I almost had like every hour on the hour, I thought I would almost start crying. Like I would get that emotional. Like, I can't believe I got to go down. I even read about cortisol online. Why am I taking this fucking test? And finally I went down there, and as I was walking in, Felicia called me, "What time are we meeting today?" I'm like, "Felicia, I don't even know if we're fucking meeting. They're taking blood out. I'm about to drop."
I was kind of needling you because I wasn't understanding. I'm like, yeah, so what time? I like, you know.
No, and she had just come to get me. Like, I was inside with the iPod on. I was listening to Hector Lavoe. I was dancing to Spanish music. And all of a sudden she came out. She goes, "Jose Diaz." And I was like, "Next." And that's when you called.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm about to fucking faint. And she took me right into the room. There was no massaging me. There was no "how are you?" She was like busy. And she goes, "We got to rock, baby." Yeah. She put me down. I put the fucking earphones on. I looked the other way, and I got to be honest with you, I didn't feel a thing.
Really?
Not a thing. I felt something was going on, you know, like I started feeling dizzy, and I started seeing spots in the air. But then I just started breathing, and I started salsa dancing on the thing, and next thing you know, she put the cotton ball in my thing. But when I got up, my shirt was covered in sweat. I had to go home and change the fucking shirt.
Oh, really?
My palms were like dripping from the fucking sweat. I can't handle it.
Your Cuban egg roll was laying in a swamp.
No, my Cuban egg roll was fine. I wasn't sweating down there. I didn't go into the full body fucking sweat ball like I did last Tuesday when I OD'd on the banana bread and shit like that on Chandler. Yeah. No, it wasn't one of those. That's why I got out of there. I drank a half a Coke, which was like 6 fucking points. So,
right.
Because Coke has a lot of points in it. And I shot home, and I'm here.
And
Fuck
here
it.
you are, and you came over. My friend Wendy is here.
That's right. We did what we had to do, and now we're on the mic, bitches.
That's right.
Like a Run and DMC in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tackle Wendy now because she's petrified of the microphone. I can tell.
I'm so
I know
scared.
you're like like a little.
No, what are you scared about, Wendy? We're
scared
here.
about?
Just talk how we were doing before.
I hear myself and I sound really weird.
No, so the fuck do I.
Yeah.
What do you think I sound like? Don't
Please,
even listen.
let me go on the iTunes reviews and tell you how people perceive my voice in a negative
Please.
way. You know what I mean?
There is something though, like you listen to a radio station this morning, and the guy, like the DJ, they just sound right. And then a girl always calls in. She's like, "Anyway, so I kind of cheated on my boyfriend, and now I think he's cheating on me because karma's gonna get me."
Right. This is what this podcast is all about. But you can't put your hand on the computer.
How do you
when
fucking
we're
kind of cheat
here,
on
let
somebody?
me put the microphone over here.
It was in the first 3 months that they were together, so
Okay.
it wasn't like they were really together. But
They didn't
did
really
have
know
the
where they
talk.
were at, right?
Yeah.
Then they didn't have the talk yet, and then they figured out that's fucked up how you kind of cheat on somebody.
No.
You
It's
know.
cheating or it's not once you have the talk.
That's right.
Look, everybody knows that blowjobs aren't cheating. That's just the definition. Shut up, move along. So, what did you do this weekend, Joey?
I didn't do shit. I walked over to the fucking Puerto Rican carnival there on Tahunga.
Oh, yeah.
They had a little carnival, and I walked around with my wife, and we got some fennel cake, because I would never fucking get on one of those rides, because if the one on Great Adventure goes down, those guys, eventually one of those rides will go down. I see the people who work them. I got nothing against them. They're nice people, but Obviously, they're just there on the clock. I mean, it was fucking scary.
You know what? That I have a fear of heights, and I took the boys to Newport Beach, the pier, and they have like a little carnival ride.
Carnival ride,
what is
a
that
wheel,
called?
a Ferris wheel,
A Ferris
like
wheel.
Santa Monica.
Yeah, but it's really tiny, and it's like just on the pier that's only like 10 feet across, and I'm like, and it's just high enough and rickety enough. I was like, at the top, like, if there's an earthquake, this thing is just gonna fall right into the water. Like, why would? And I started freaking out, and I was holding on to Cash, like, I was holding on to my son, like, whoa, fuck. You said fuck. You know, I like totally
shit.
had a meltdown.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I hate it. When I was a kid, I'd go on all those rides, like roller coasters and the ones that you put your back to and spin around, and I could do all that shit. There was some extreme stuff. But man, now I look at it and I'm like, no. Especially like those little park ones, the little church carnivals and shit. Fuck you. Yeah. If I go, I'm going to a big one. So if the thing flies off the handle, at least I can sue somebody. You know what I'm saying? At least I can come back looking. You go to one of these church carnivals, the thing tips over. You're fucking history.
Yeah.
Those people are out of business in 3 days. You're done. Even the church locks the fucking doors.
They just dissipate.
They just disappear.
Goes home.
Immigration will watch them scatter. You know what I'm saying? It's over. I'm not saying nothing like that. I'm just saying that they fucking scatter. You'll never find out who to sue. So fuck it. I like my legs. You know what I'm saying?
What's the weirdest thing that ever happened to you at a carnival? Did you ever have
the
something?
fucking best thing that ever happened to me at a carnival was I had to be around 12 or 13. It was it was a little after, right before Halloween, but it was hot. You ever get those days in October? They're just fucking hot. So we all went to this place in New Jersey. I forget what part of New Jersey, close to Newark. It was called the Brigantine Castle. Right, this is the best thing that ever happened to me at the amusement park. That's what you want to know. So the Brigantine Castle had like a little haunted house that you go in there. But what happened was this was the day that kids from different towns came down, like on buses. So it was like us and East Orange and like Newark and East Orange, where Queen Latifah's from, and Naughty by Nature. They don't fuck around in that neighborhood. So I walk into this haunted house, and all of a sudden this Dracula comes up. I think I told you this. Did I ever tell you? This Dracula comes on. He's like, blah. But he was a real live Dracula. And he bumped into like, this is 1980. This is 1978. I don't even think he was a gangbanger. He was just a black kid. And they had 3 other black kids with him and a couple Puerto Ricans, and he bumped into him, and he goes, what the fuck is up with you, Dracula, bitch? And I'm about 12, whatever, and all of a sudden they start arguing, Dracula and the kids start arguing. And all of a sudden these kids start beating the fuck out of Dracula in this haunted mansion. And they're pulling him out by the cape, and they're fucking punching him like a wrestler. They had to put the lights on. The cops came. We had to all go on the buses. That was the best time I ever had. All that shit of fucking jumping around with your parents and fucking Great Adventure, that shit sucks. When I seen those fucking kids beat the fuck out of Dracula, they were dragging him out by the cape, pulling his fucking hair off. Frankenstein tried to jump in. You don't know what that's like when you're fighting a house full of horror like people, and they're sticking up for the guy, and the guy's on the floor. And I remember laughing, and I never repeated that story. Nobody, because who would believe that shit? That's the shit that happens in Jersey. You follow me? Brigantine Castle. I forget what part of Jersey he's from. That's the best time. Then one time I almost died on one of those rides.
Which ride?
Seaside Park. The ones where you you rent $10 and they give you a bikini, and you have a little thing, a little slip and slide on the back, and you go down those rides real fucking fast.
Oh,
you ever do those? They have them around here, like water parks.
Yeah.
But what you can do to go even faster is, like, some fucking people rub butter and shit on their bodies because they want to do like 100. And we had to take this. We took this acid and took a bus down there. So by the time we got to the amusement park, the acid was alive and fucking kicking. And we got in this water slide in Seaside Park, New Jersey. And the deal was we do a hit of acid like at 3. You go do what you do, and then you all meet at the bottom of the water slide at midnight. All fucked up when the acid's kicking in and nobody knows what's going on. And you got like a chick with you and shit, and she's 13 and the mother's looking for her. You know, we were kids, and I'll never forget going to the top of that and just doing like 90 on that water slide and popping my head up, guys. And it was one of those bridges, and something didn't let me pop all the way up, or we wouldn't be here talking right now. Like, it was the weirdest thing. Like, going up and seeing this bridge. Like, it was just a bridge underneath me, but I could just... It would have just taken my head off, like the guy in Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. Then when the helicopter topped the top of his fucking head off, and he went down, he got back up. That's what would have happened to me. So those are the best 2 times but Dracula beats it all. When I
getting-
seen those little young brothers beating up on Dracula,
Seeing
brilliant,
Get beat up does
brilliant,
beat it all. Wow.
brilliant.
I actually played a vampire once at Halloween.
Did you?
It was at my junior high, and I had this cape, and I put all the makeup on. I was really into character. It was part of drama club, and they had like this little haunted house in the locker room, and it was a bunch of us drama kids, and we did the whole thing. And it was my job in pitch darkness to jump out and go, ah ha ha ha, like I can't even do it, right? So I was all preparing myself.
It's bah.
Right.
I always say it's bah. I want
know.
to suck your blood.
That's how bad it was. So I was all preparing myself. And I could hear
Bah.
the science teacher who was really cute. I told you about the science teacher that married the 8th grader, right?
Yeah. That's fucked
It
up.
was him, Mr. Green. Mr. Green, he was good looking, looked like Robert Redford. God damn, he was a nice piece of meat. Wonder what happened there. So, but he's bringing the kids in, and I was like, whoa, whatever. And someone's like, Felicia? And I was like, never mind.
That's fucking embarrassing when somebody sees right through your costume off the bat.
In the pitch dark.
You feel
In
so
the pitch dark.
You feel so disappointed about your costume abilities. That's why I
In
don't fucking
the
dress
dark.
up either.
I know.
That's why I don't dress up either. There's a kid who listens to this podcast. His name is Mikey El Negro. And I went to school with him, and he was a year older than I was. And that crew was a little on the whacked out side. I didn't hang out with Mikey. Mikey was a great guitar player. Now he lives in Florida. But he hung out with the same crew I hung out with. And they had a fucking Halloween costume party at our high school. And these motherfuckers were determined to win it. So what they did was, like 2 of them, Mike Ryan, this kid, Mike Astley, they got garbage cans. They cut the bottom off and they put the garbage on them. And then they took the garbage top and put a bag and crazy glued the garbage top to their heads. Then they took string and tied live mice onto it, to their tails, and went to the thing. And when they won first prize, they went on stage and bit the head off the fucking mice for the cameras. And I never seen so many people dying and puking right there. I was one of them. I fainted right there. They bit the fucking heads off to win the $50 they gave.
Wow.
Hey, sometimes you got to be creative.
It is hard to believe that
Yeah, very hard to believe.
that the woman who took her tooth out on Easter brunch is now shy.
No, that's it.
But I like that about my Wendy.
Yeah, I like that. I
Wendy
like that
is
too.
the awesomest person in the whole world.
I see that. I see
Wendy
that
has
you
a
guys.
job. If I kick off, and she's the one that's going to come to my house and clear out all the evidence, so that my real family members can sift through my stuff without
It's very
having
nice.
too many questions.
I always, whenever I have a bad day, I always think of my friends. I don't have any family, and I always think of my friends. And when I meet people, and even if I like that person, I'm a fucking creepy dude. If I meet somebody and they don't have street friends, like family friends, I don't really like that person. I put them up, and this little fucking blonde has all types of fucking friends. She don't judge nobody. She's got, you just have the biggest array of friends, and they're all fucking crazy.
Who, me?
Yeah, you just have a great life as far as, people can have their families and people they grew up with, but if you don't really know how to reach a different type of mass, you really don't have a fucking life. And I really have always liked that about you. You just have a very wide range of friends. And in LA, people don't have that. In LA, people have
true.
television friends, and that's it. Oh my God, they write. Who gives a fuck? I just want you to say Wendy's coming over here today. She's cool as shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In LA, I have to, Wendy, oh, by the way, a friend's coming over. He writes for Ally McBeal. And so you'll accept him. No, whatever happened to Wendy's fucking cool. She's coming over here.
Young girls, you gotta know, you've gotta have, Alicia and I have been friends for.
No, she has told me. We've had
we
all
talk
this.
about you
We
on the
talk about you all the
podcast.
time. This is why. We
So
talk
now
about
I know
friendships.
you're really
This is-
not listening to the podcast.
This is what this podcast is about, is to see what you have to work with sometimes. I never had a fucking family, a mom and a dad. So my friends are my fucking world. This morning, when I was crying in between takes, who do you think I was calling this morning? I was calling all those tough guys in Jersey going, Doug, I got to go for a blood test. What do you think? And all of them are like, go fuck yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's what you need to hear. You need to hear people that tell you to go fuck yourself. You don't have that in this society. Skechers released shoes for young girls now. So what they did on the commercial on the computer was they showed skinny girls. Skinny girls with mini skirts, 12, 13, on the thing. Fucking parents on an uproar. That my kid, you're calling him fat, his feelings are gonna be hurt. Let me tell you something, I was never a fat fucking kid. But I think like from 11 to 13, I got a little heavy right before the jerk-off masturbation period comes. Before you get your pimples, you know, that big spurt, you get into whacking it, you know, and you get chubby and shit from all the testosterone or whatever you're leaking out. And a couple people call me fucking fat fuck, and that pressed me to go to the goddamn gym. You see those doors you have right there behind you? My mother had those doors only that you could slip them, you know, the ones that you slip this way?
Right.
I used to take it off the hinges and put it on 2 chairs and use it as a fucking bench to lift weights because my mother wouldn't let me have a bench in the house because they wouldn't let me lift weights till I was 14. So it was because somebody called me a fat fuck that I did that. You follow me? If you can't tell the kiddies that, you see the size of these fucking kids nowadays? You got some big kids out there. They're fucking young. Yeah. We got a problem in this fucking country. You know, but like, again, at the baseball field last week, you can't say, strike the little fucking cocksucker out. You can't say that because you hurt somebody else's kids. Yeah. It's amazing how in 30 years, the behavior towards children and their feelings, what are these kids going to grow up to be like? When they have one bad fucking day, they're going to shoot themselves.
Well, you are actually allowed to yell stuff out. When your kids go to private school, you're allowed to yell things out, but they have to be
in a positive light. Strike them out, you fuck, you ain't shit.
Or it has to be creative, or, you know, you just can't.
Strike them out, you fuck, you ain't shit. That's creative.
Or you could say.
What am I, Hemingway? I gotta fucking write a book to tell this prick how to fucking strike them out?
Yeah.
So do you understand?
Well, you could yell things out like, you know, you have deficits in your creative thinking. You know what I mean?
And kids are like, Ma, he said I have ADD. Remember when we were kids? Like, you had to tell somebody, go fuck your mother. Now it's like, you have ADD. Ah! Ma, he said I had ADD. How did he find
the good
out?
old days when you could just say, go fuck your mother.
Oh,
and that was
my
the biggest
God. I remember when
insult.
I was a kid, my mom tried to teach me how to wipe my ass for years. I was one of those kids, and every once in a while, I just forget to wipe my ass, and I throw the shorts in the fucking hamper, and she would hang those shorts on my front door. You understand me? She would hang them.
I'm going to do that.
Not
I have
on the
one of
front
those
door
in
to the
my
house.
house.
She'd hang them on the front door of my room, so when your friends come over, they could see how you live, you filthy cocksucker. You know what I'm saying? That's how my mom treated me. She was cut and dry. Guess what?
Yeah.
Till today, I don't fucking shit my pants. Well, I shit myself last week, but I washed the clothes before Terry got up the next morning. Cinco de Mayo.
You shit yourself on Cinco de Mayo?
Cinco de Mayo.
Did you just wake up and go, oh my God, it's Cinco de Mayo, and you shit yourself?
No. Cinco de Mayo had a gig in fucking Lancaster, and I went to a happy hour. And
I'm sorry, you shit your pants on Cinco de Mayo in Lancaster?
Listen to me. No. It gets better than that. I had a fucking Cinco de Mayo gig in Lancaster, but I went to a happy hour in Burbank with some friends from like 6 to 8, and they had all that finger food. And I could taste it was old Mexican food, but I didn't say nothing. I ate the one thing. I didn't say nothing. I go home, I wash my little pussy, and I go to Lancaster. You know, I like to shit before I wash my pussy before you go out, so you don't have to scratch your ass the rest of the fucking night.
That's only fair.
You don't have to wipe seconds. You don't have to think somebody wants to suck your dick. I took a shit. No.
Yeah, we all
you know
think
what I'm
that
saying?
way. Yes.
So I get to the gig. I don't walk in the fucking gig 2 feet, and I see the kid on stage, and all of a sudden you get that pain in your stomach. Now, there's a couple pains you get. There's a pain when you're from the fart, and you know it just comes and goes. There's another pain from something, but there's that pain. That's that pain deep that you know you're gonna fuck up a bathroom. You just don't know where. It's gonna come out eventually. You hope it's when you get home, like you hope it's a 3-hour one. And so I do my comedy. I get in the car, and I'm fine. I get in the fucking car. Once I hit the fucking 5 or whatever it is, the 14. Oh my God. I start farting and I got to shit. But I do 90. Fuck it. I got a 1 point and I'll take that driver rate classic. And I'm not shitting. I'm not shitting the car.
Yeah, that'll make you sweat.
My God. I'm sweating. I got the windows open.
Myself.
Oh, and I go, and also I get to fucking 170 and it's down to 1 lane. And that's where the eruption started. Like right there, right in the car on the 170. This is going to get bad. I had the music on. I'm singing. I'm dancing in the car. And then I get off the 170 at Magnolia, and it's the light of death. You understand me? It's the light of fucking death. This is the last light till I get to the fucking house. And it's a 20-minute light, and I got nobody behind me. All the times you want somebody behind you, so the weight's on there. Right. So here I am going back and fucking forth on Magnolia. No. Well, I can feel it coming out of my asshole. I can fucking feel it.
You're rocking like an orphan in Budapest.
Once I did the countdown, 17, 16, you know, with the guy on the side, and I put that car in the park because the next light isn't Colfax. It's the one after that before the police station on fucking Burbank. So I had to beat that light. I don't give a fuck if there's a cop there or what. Boom! I fucking bang it out. I beat the light. I get to my block, I make a right, and as I get to my fucking block, there's a parking right in front of my house. I'm going to make it. I pull up in front of my house, I turn the car off, and as I stick the leg out, it just tapped out. Like the seat, it was like in fucking Apocalypse Now.
It's when you get relief. It's inside.
Oh my
and then
God.
your whole body's like relieves. And then
It was like Apocalypse Now.
God.
The only thing that was holding this asshole together was the chair with my cheeks. It was a combination. I was like in a bridge pose with both shoulders down, so it was tucked in.
Right.
Now, once I opened the leg out, I could feel it. Now, I didn't want to fart in the car because you can't get that smell out. So I got out and I could feel it coming down. And at that point, I could run upstairs or I could walk. It's like that old expression. Either run down and fuck one of them, or we could walk and fuck them all. I said, I'm going to shit anyway, so I just walked.
Because that is a big question. Do I run when I have diarrhea,
no,
or do I
don't
walk
run.
when I have diarrhea?
And I walked. And by the time I got to the third level, I could feel it coming out of my asshole, and I didn't give a fuck it. I didn't have underwear on. Fuck it. It's and I could feel it wrapping around my leg, around the sock.
Right.
When you feel a little bead of shit go down to your sock. Look at Wendy. Wendy's smile went away.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I went to the bathroom. When I let it out, it was everywhere, like on my legs. It had dripped down on my legs. So right there, I just took my socks off and my shoes, and I took a shower. But it was like 12 o'clock at night, and I'm like, fuck. My wife's gonna think I cheated on her because I'm taking a shower late night. This is what cheaters usually do.
Maybe at that point, that's the better call.
No. So I fucking took the clothes, put it in my hamper, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll do wash early. She'll never see it. Well, sure enough. Every day she uses her own hamper. This is the day she used my hamper. And when she walked to the hamper to throw her shit in there, she goes, what happened to your jeans? What's that brown stuff? And I looked at her and I go, you didn't hear the shower last night? She goes, no, I didn't hear the shower. Why? What happened? I go, fuck. I thought you were going to get up when I was in the shower at like 12:30. I shit my pants. She's used to it. I had a shit in the garage one time down there, and I drove over it to hide it from her.
Oh, my God.
And then she went down and seen all the... And at this place in North Hollywood, I had a shit in the backyard about 8 months ago after sushi.
You told me about that time.
And the landlord called the fucking health control because he thought it was a bear that shit in her yard. It was a mound with smoke behind. The fucking wall. I love these type of podcasts. See, Wendy,
God.
you brought a new light to... I shit my pants Cinco. Oh, I didn't tell her when I took the shit in the yard because the landlord, she would have got pissed. I never told her about taking the shit in the yard because my wife gets sensitive about stuff like that. But when I shit my pants,
she has to draw the line somewhere.
She just calls me like a fucking idiot. The standard stuff. You're a fucking Momo, or you're a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because she knows. I got an email this week from a kid that's 17. I don't know if you read it. And he was saying that he's hooked on somebody, wants to get into comedy. And I just told him the truth. I go, you got two options. You can get into comedy, and you keep eating pills and discover your soul. And when you're 38, you're going to wake up in a fucking rehab. And then you have to take 6 months off of comedy. You're probably going to be really good at that time because you bared your soul. But now you're off that, and people are going to know about that. I go, you're going to get the same results and better if you don't do the fucking pills.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So become a comedian, but what do you got to do the fucking pills for? It's shit like that fucks with me. But then I got another one that want to know my biggest criminal blunder. I never told you about my biggest criminal blunder. I never remember it until I went to Foot Locker last week. I went to Foot Locker to get sneakers, and I walk in and I'm like, Terry, I used to work at Foot Locker. She was like, so did I. And on the way home, I thought about this fucking Foot Locker thing. I go, when did I work at Foot Locker? And why did I quit it? I'm like, oh. And I remember what happened. I had just gotten to Boulder. Anybody watch that show, Mob Wives? There's a show, Mob Wives, right? The heavy fat one that looks like a man. Her father's in jail, and her father ran Staten Island. When I was a kid, I'd go over to Staten Island, and we used to go over to buy weed, and then it grew into other things. But one of the things they did was they sell IDs over there. Any type of fucking ID you want. For $500, you get an ID, a birth certificate, and a fucking insurance card for your car.
God damn it!
These
the good old
motherfuckers
days.
were
You know
on
what
it.
I mean? The fact that you just can't do that anymore is really,
You can still do it. That's how the fucking
really?
people do it. Yeah, but it's done other ways. But it was funny because he hooked us up with a guy who used to get credit cards out of a bank. So every time a bank sent a credit card, let's say they sent Felicia a credit card, they make 2 copies, and we would get the other copy. So somebody else at the bank would get that copy and sell it to us for $500 flat with the expiration dates, everything. We could call the fucking credit card company as you. Fucking scary thought, people. And this is how it happens.
Yeah.
You think that this shit don't happen. It used to happen a lot more. What, you going to leave me here by myself?
Yeah. Sorry.
What, are you kidding me? Come on over. You can't fuck. Come on over. Sit on Uncle Joey's lap. Let's talk about So this is 85. I'm about ready to leave New York, and I got a settlement for my shoulder. I got $18,000. Me and some buddy of mine did some fucking street walk scam where you sue a street walk for not fucking shoveling and stuff. He was the king of it. This guy would fall on the bus all the fucking time.
So you did a fake falling.
His name was Cy Lawrence, and what he did was he already had the scam already done. All you had to do is go to the hospital and go to the attorney's office the next day. He already had the doctors in line, the dentist, anything. And all he wanted was $300 flat.
Really?
And he did 10 of them a day.
Are you serious?
10 of them a day. His name was Cy Lawrence. He weighed 400 pounds. We used to call him Heavy Cy. You understand me? This is 82, 81. So I come back from Colorado. I'm running from the cops. I come back and I bump into him. Oh, and to make it better, he was one of my football coaches. That's how everybody knew Cy Lawrence. He'd give us $100 to drive him to Connecticut to Highlight, and we'd smoke dope in the car while we were in high school. This guy was great. Heavy Cy. He was fucking huge. He used to put donuts around his fingers. And he'd eat them while he was talking to you. Fucking, you can't write this shit.
Oh my God.
So Heavy Cy used to turn this into this. We're fucking 17, 18. He used to tell us all about scams that he'd do. He'd fall on the buses when it snowed out. He'd get your buddy to sideswipe the bus and he'd fall. He had 1,000 cases. He'd fall at supermarkets. He'd throw a jar of food off and then he'd slip and then he'd start yelling, help, help. And he told me, he goes, you want to get big money? Always ask the fucking first person that I pass out. That's big money.
Oh, really?
That's big money. That's 100,000 right there. I mean, they had it down. And he's like, listen, when you do this, it's like having a job. What you're going to do is that you're going to go see this attorney, and he's got everybody on the payroll, and you're going to go to the chiropractor, you're going to go to the therapist, you're going to quit your fucking day job. And all you're going to do every day is go to appointments. But every day it's like punching in at a clock. That's how he sold it to you. He had 30 people doing this, all at the same chiropractor and the same fucking doctor and the same thing. So anyway, to make a long story short, I left and I came back and he was hunting me down. It's like, dog, you got a check for fucking 18 grand waiting for you to. So he goes, come on, let's go out there together. We went out to the Newark, we stopped, we got a steak. And I knew I had to leave Jersey because my godfather was going to fucking shoot me at the time. And I just wanted to come back to Colorado.
What was your godfather's name?
Gabi.
Yeah.
I had him and about 3 other people looking to fucking shoot me. I was carrying a little gun. I was ready for fucking action. But nobody really came around. The day before I left, my godfather approached me on a motorcycle. And he's like, you still around? I'm going to shoot you. So I come out to Colorado. I take $8 grand. I blow it in 3 days in Jersey with my friends. Not only that, I went and got 2 credit cards and took all my friends out. Took them to a mall. The girl worked at the baby's godmother worked at. She was the general manager. My Goomba in those days, you ready for this? Was the general manager of Joan and David at Aunt Taylor. You bitches right now would be dressed to the nines if my girl was still around. So we would go out there, give her a card. She'd run it and go to work. It's clean. Go. And she'd walk into the stores with us. She knew all the people. They're all right. Do what they do. We go. So I got 4 cards from this guy and just went and took care of all my friends that took care of me all those years. All the rides, all the grams of coke, all the guys that hid me at their house.
All in Ann Taylor clothes?
No. I took her to some cologne place. And her favorite thing was like $100 an ounce, and I bought her the biggest fucking thing. It was like $6 grand for this bottle of cologne that looked like a Galliano bottle, tipped and everything. I mean, I just went nuts with my friends. I said, if I could end up with 10 grand, I'll be good. So I took 2 cards with me. I go, when I go to Colorado, I'm not even going to use these cards. I'm going to start and be a new man. But I'm going to take 2 cards with me just for emergency purposes. I went to Staten Island, gave them $1,000, because what you do with the cards really to make a living is I go to Wendy and go, Wendy, what do you need? And Wendy would go, I need a fucking mink coat from whatever. Wendy, it's $10,000. I'll have it at your house at 2, but you got to have 5 grand. That's a deal. In fact, Wendy, give me 4. Give me 4 and have some cleavage when I get there. For 4 grand, I didn't do nothing. So I take 50% of whatever the product was. So that's how you made your living with those credit cards in those days. So when I get to Colorado, I go, fuck it. I'm going to take the 2 cards and throw them away. I'm not going to use them, but if I get into a bind, I have to use them. I threw them into a weed. I threw them into weeds in Boulder. But I always knew where the weeds were. You know what I'm saying? Like I kept my eyes on those weeds every day and shit. Because the cards hadn't even been signed yet. They were brand fucking new. So I went looking for a job. I wanted to fucking change my life. I wanted to work. I joined a gym. I joined a sun tanning place. I wanted to get a fucking job. So I went to the main mall in Boulder, and I applied there to all the stores. And they fucking said, no, we don't need any help. So one day I got desperate and I said, fuck it. They're never going to hire me there. I'm going to go rob them. So I took the credit cards and I went to that store and went bananas. And these were young college kids. If I was doing it in New York, you have no idea the havoc I was causing in Boulder. Havoc. I went to every store and just bought shit. Give me earrings, women's earrings. And then once they tell you the card is stolen, you still use the card and you just would use it under 50. Anything under $50, they wouldn't run in those days. They would look at a book.
Yeah.
So that card has mileage from now till fucking Jesus comes back. I would go to a Chinese restaurant and say, buy yourself lunch on the card, me and you, and take out an extra 20. As long as it's $44,
Yeah.
I could care less what you do with the fucking card.
Wow.
So I get this, I go to this mall, I rape the fucking mall, I forget about the mall, and one day I get home and some kid says to me, hey, Foot Locker called. So I go, come on. So I go to Foot Locker, I go down there, I interview, and I get the job. They do a background check, and I get the job.
That was before everything was online, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh, this is when you had to look through the paperwork. I got to get back to you. There's too many Diaz's. Because Diaz is like Smith. You ain't never going to find me. Jose, shit, you got 4 days ahead of you. That's like John Smith, Jose Diaz. There's 1,000 of those. That's why I can't get pulled over. Sometimes they want to arrest me for murder and shit. That's why I don't even like getting pulled over for speeding. Fuck that, because they'll take me.
Yeah.
Jose Diaz is a big popular name. You got to be fucking careful. So I go to Foot Locker, and as natural, after a week, they're like, dog, you got to come in here part-time. You got to come in here full-time. You're breaking records. You know me, I can sell fucking anything, you know. I got money. I didn't have a girl yet. I could fucking sell anything. I was 21. Shit. I was killing them, so they made me a full-time employee. Well, one fucking day, a month later, 2 cops come in. They're like, Joe Diaz, yeah, can we have a word with you? I'm like, what's up? And they're like, some employee said that you work here, and a month before you went in there and dropped like $5,000 on the credit card. And I'm like, you're fucking crazy. And they kept trying to law and order me. Mm-hmm. I was the king of fucking stonewalling in those days. I don't know. I learned old school. Keep your mouth shut. Don't say 2 fucking words. They kept asking me questions, dog, about, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I just moved here. I don't know. They came the next day. I don't know. They came the next day. I don't know. Next day, I finally said, listen, you guys got something? If not, do me a favor. Don't fucking bother me no more. Then the guy showed up on Saturday. And he on regular clothes. And he's like, listen, we got the sizes, the clothes you bought. We got everything. I said, if you had anything, we wouldn't be having this fucking conversation, guy. And they're like, you should turn yourself in Monday. So I fucking got my sneakers for the day. I went home. I took the fucking credit cards out of the weeds, and I went to San Francisco.
You spoke a lot last week about Eddie Bravo and his gym legends, and you were telling me that they do pole dancing.
Well, it's amazing because when they took it over, it was the bottom floor was for Muay Thai, and then the upstairs was for Eddie. And then the guy that owns it, Chris, his girlfriend she owned the one on La Brea, in between the Thai place
The pole dancing place.
They started with 3 poles. I mean, she started this with grassroots.
Oh, let me wipe a tear from my eye.
You have to.
It was a 3-pole establishment.
It was a 3-pole establishment. And all of a sudden they went to Eddie and said, listen, guess what? We're going to take half your fucking thing because the pole dancing craze is too much. So they put poles upstairs and downstairs and the stage.
Yeah.
So women could go there and pole dance. But it's not
such
just
a craze. There's probably pole dancing in nursing homes.
Oh my God! They do like 4 or 5 classes a day, and my buddy works at Kushmart, Cappy, and I said to him, "How is kickboxing?" Because he says you got to go to the 7 a.m. Muay Thai. And one day I said to him, "How is Muay Thai this morning?" He goes, "It wasn't bad, but there's more girls pole dancing what they are guys at Muay Thai class." He goes, there was like 30 women at 7 a.m. pole dancing, jumping up and down, stretching and shit, shaking that ass.
What a beautiful place as a man that you can go and watch women for free pole dance and then beat the shit out of another man.
Yeah,
that's a genius business.
Genius move.
Bravo, Eddie, bravo.
Genius move. Bravo. But, you have a problem with pole dancing. What is it?
You know what? The pole dancing lessons make me angry because I don't think that that a woman of some means, like a a lawyer, a corporate lawyer who has 3 children and a fantastic job and a beach house and goes skiing in Switzerland during the perfect time of year should also know how to work a pole. It makes me angry. Like, let's leave something for the women that are trying to fucking scratch their way into the middle class. Like, let's leave something for the poor women that can't go to college, that can't, don't want to get married when they're 17 to a GI and have a baby. Like, let's save something for women that want to achieve something. It makes me angry.
Half of this is for fitness. Some women do it for fitness because it seems like a great fucking workout.
Give me a break. When I was a stripper, no stripper ever said, I'm only here for the burn, baby.
That's how they sell it. They sell it for fitness, and they also sell it for, your husband. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love my wife. I wouldn't mind her dancing one time, but that's it.
Yeah.
Don't get fucking carried away.
You're going to do pole dancing for your husband? So in your bedroom, you have the pole and another guy fingering you under the table for an extra 40? That's
whatever the fuck. I mean, it's just...
That's the real pole dancing lesson.
It's just amazing that half the women
How
that
to
go
let a guy
there...
finger you for, and not get caught by the cops.
Half the people that are there are for fitness. It's really weird. I don't think that, the time I went, I didn't see any girls that looked like exotic dancers. They were all like moms or BMWs and fucking SUVs, and it's like, and they're doing it. They're fucking doing it, guys. And you're sitting there going, wow. And then I asked
them. They oil the pole.
I don't know if they oil the pole. I don't know nothing about the stripper tricks. You know what I'm saying?
They have like a stack of $1 bills folded around their ring finger. Yeah, that's what they don't teach you those lessons.
It's pretty interesting. Hey, listen, Zumba has become a fucking business. When I was a kid, Zumba, you just dance in your living room to Spanish music. Go to the fucking YMCA during the week. Yoga classes, yeah, they got 20 people in there. Yeah, stretch, yeah, 20. What's the other thing chicks do? Pilates, oh my God, they got 22 women there. Go to fucking Zumba class. They got 80 women dancing, moving. It's such a fucking trend. And they do it from 8 to fucking 10 o'clock. The taco truck pulls up over there for Y. They got balloons, they got booze, they got margaritas. It's funny how you're having a party for your children, and it's like whatever, an airball party or, and I know how parents today are against weapons, like they're just against weapons. And I told you that on the podcast. I remember going to see Dirty Harry, and at the end of Dirty Harry, my mom's friend putting a gun in my lap. That was the same gun Dirty Harry had in the movie. I'm maybe 6 or 7, and I got this gun. He's driving in New York, like on Broadway, and he's like, what do you think about it? And he's like, don't press the trigger, he's like, be careful. And here I got this fucking 44 Magnum in my lap, and I'm 6 or 7. And then when I was like 9, I was in the attic, and I was always scared of spirits. When I was a kid, I was always scared of fucking ghosts, dog. Always. Till this day.
I have one like that.
Till this day, I got to sleep with the door a little open. There's got to be a light on in the room. Just from what was instilled in me as a kid, my dad, the spirit, the whole fucking thing. And one night, my stepdad was talking to me. He's like, what the fuck are you scared of? And he's like, are you kidding me? Ghosts don't, even if they came back, what are they going to do to you? And he goes, hold on one second, I'll take care of this. And he went in his fucking bag of tricks, and he came out with a gun with a silencer on it. And he goes, here, sleep with this. And I'll never forget, I never told nobody. I went to bed with a gun with a silencer. It was like a little Beretta at the time. Because he was a silencer freak. He used to make silencers from scratch.
Well, he was a professional.
And he used to know how to, he taught me how to scotch tape, if you just want to shoot somebody one time, you just take a 64-ounce Coke, the big bottles, and you tie it around a gun with scotch tape really tight, and you put it around the fucking gun with the scotch tape, and when you fire it one time, it muzzles it. Just one shot, it'll muzzle it. So it'll go through the 64-ounce container.
Right.
So you got to pull up to somebody with it, boom, and just shoot them, and they'll muzzle one shot. Then after that, you're on your own. But he was infatuated with silencers for a while when I was a kid. And I think about kids today that their parents don't even want. I had one of my gifts when I was 9 was a Marksman repeater. And I got to tell you something, I was really good with it. That Marksman repeater was my dog for 6.
It's a BB gun, right?
It's a BB gun, combination pellet gun, combination arrows. So you got everything covered. You got the BBs, the pellets, and the little arrow. You had to tip the cylinder and put the little arrow in one at a time. That's the only thing that sucked. And I could look you straight in the face and tell you I never shot an animal. You know, I was a can freak and boards and targets. You know, and the kids I hung out with were can freaks and boards and targets. I never shot an animal, but then I shot somebody with it. And my dad found out about it, and they took the gun from me. Like a neighbor. I shot him in the leg or something
and
like
was
that.
this a little boy? Or?
Yeah, we were both the same age. I think that's what, something happened. I did something wrong with the gun. I shot the glass. I did something wrong with the gun.
Were your parents shocked? Like they couldn't have been shocked.
They gave me the gun with trust.
Yeah.
In my house, it was based on trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, they found a knife on me when I was like 8. They came to pick me up on 148th Street, and they found the fucking 007 knife. When I was a kid, those were the knife of choice. It was this wood handle thing that had 007 on the side, and you'd have to take it home and rub it with butter and all this shit so you could give it a you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like a fucking Puerto Rican.
Was it a switchblade?
It wasn't a switchblade. It was long.
Right.
I remember my stepdad finding it on me. He's like, "You're just too young to have, you know, what the fuck are you thinking?" They didn't punish me.
Where'd you get it?
I got it at a store.
They just sold you
You walked in with the 20, they sold you whatever you wanted in those days. There was no IDs, there was no paperwork. You know, if you were old enough to look over the counter, they sold it to you.
Right.
I got it like on 153rd Street. Like, that was the only place that would sell it to us. We walked in there with the dough at the time.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. Like, I'm not a gun freak. I could care less about them. If I have one close by, it's great. But I'm not a gun freak. I don't study them. I don't have charts on my walls, even though I seen that at a young age. You know, it's funny because on the way over here, I was thinking about what makes you become a comedian. What makes us become half of what we do? And in comedy, I think that at one time, like you and I had, you know, we didn't live in the Brady Bunch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we weren't getting beat up by fucking people in South Africa and thrown over a mountain, but we weren't fucking the Brady Bunch.
Right.
And I guess at times you want to make yourself laugh. And at one point in our lives, we actually seen somebody that made us laugh, but made us feel a certain way. And we also seen how it made the people around us feel. So we were like, I wish I could do that or whatever. And that's, I don't know. That's maybe because I remember the first time I heard Richard Pryor, the one album. I remember being in a room with a bunch of people and how cool it was. Like, you get to talk in a room with bricks around you and people drink alcohol, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. You know what I'm saying? You make people feel so good.
Right.
But who knows? Why do you become a plumber? What makes you draw pictures? Who knows? You know, I don't know if that's but it's weird how they say that things that you've seen early on go with you to life. Yeah, if I had a gun close by, I would shoot somebody. But it's not like I have 22 guns on me. Like, I'm not a gun freak. And I grew up around that.
Yeah.
I grew up around the guy that was weapony. So it's funny when you say that. It's like, again, one day we were on the podcast and we had a disagreement around something. We yelled at each other. And just now you said to me, you know, there's a preschool back there. They heard the whole conversation, the fight we had. And I'm like, you know what? In some circles, that was considered a fight. In some circles, that was just considered a disagreement. A fight's when shit's getting thrown and somebody's jumping a fence.
For a girl being in a fight, was pretty.
You were off kilter, and so was I. But it's really weird what some people consider violence, and some people consider, so what? He's got a fucking gun.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when I kidnapped the guy in Boulder, I was like, what's the big deal? I put him in the trunk of a car. The coke is off the street. What's the big fucking deal? And they're like,
and
no.
You led with that defense.
They're like, you don't understand. You put a guy in the trunk of a car against his will. You know, it's like one man's chicken is another man's gumbo. If I had children in today's world, I would sit them down and I'd say, hey, I'm just going to get this shit out of the way, guys. Here's a .45 automatic. Here's how it works. Show them the pistol, show them the guns, show them the fucking thing. Take them to some range, make them each shoot 3 and go, it's over. Now you know what it is. I don't ever want to fucking hear about it again. What do you want a BB gun for? To do what? To shoot cans and shit? Now you know what this is. You know the other hand of this? 22 fucking thousand kids shoot themselves each year with them.
Oh, I know.
So you have to give them the other end of it.
No,
right there where you have the gun. Last night I got an email on my Facebook from a guy that listens. He didn't know about the Gmail, and he spoke about I guess him and his wife are separated. And I don't know if this is the right answer. You're a mom. I think I'm a dad, and I think I'm a good influence sometimes. But you tell me his wife and him are separated, and she found that 16-year-old and the 18-year-old smoke weed. He said to me, Joey, they're both good fucking boys, which I know what he's saying. They probably get B's. They both have jobs. There's no problem. So what? They smoke dope, but the mother's having a fucking heart attack. He goes, Joey, what do I tell him? This is the part of parenting that I fucking despised. This is it right here. When you have to sit somebody down and look them in the face and tell them how something's bad, even though we did it. right?
Or continue to do it.
Or continue to do it. Okay. So here's the fucking dilemma I came up with. I said, fuck it. Sit them down and go, look, here it is. You ready? You take out a fucking 20, you smash it up, you roll it up, boom, you light it, you give one a hit, you give the other one a hit, you turn it off, you go, here's it is, guys. I've been doing this for 20 years, so I can't tell you if it's good or bad. I know I like it. Your mother, on the other hand, doesn't like it. So now you guys did it, we got it out of the way. This is the good things about it, and these are the bad things about it. It could lead to cocaine, it could lead to whatever, it could lead for you to fucking do this, whatever. You make the pros and your cons, and at least you tell them what you feel, and I think that at the end, you're just being honest with your kids. But that's from a non-parent who doesn't have a 16 or 18-year-old.
Right. No, I think you're pretty close to the mark. I think you can't say things like, I like it.
Once you lose credibility with your kids,
like,
Felicia.
Well, you have to tell them the truth, and you have to say, this is, that I participated in that, and I have done that, and sometimes I still do, but it's like having a drink. You can't drink all the time. And you have to be respectful of people that don't like it. You have to be respectful of that. Like, if you're stupid enough that your mother finds it, then you're too stupid to smoke pot. If you're stupid enough to where your mother can find your weed, that means you're just too stupid to smoke pot. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? But when it comes
Mom's fucking Snoop, though. You guys
well,
know
of
what's
course
cracking.
they do.
So
you
it's
have
a
to know
two-way
they
street.
do.
There's a respect level. I've always thought that as a
course.
parent, you just want credibility. I like credibility. Like, this is what I did, this is what happened, and this are the results for me, and these are the results for the people around me. Now, you're an adult, you're 18, I could sit here with you and bang you in the head with a fucking rock, and you're still going to do what the fuck you want to do. You're 20, you're still going to do it. You're 16, you still live under my roof. I'd appreciate it if you smoke in a controlled area. To be honest with you, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't smoke because it gives your mother a fucking heart attack.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's
have
different
to respect
things,
people who aren't into it, and you got to be smart. And you know what? You have to understand the downfalls of it. If you're smoking so much pot where you're not going to school, even though it calms you because you fucking hate school, you know what? Pull it together. You can't do it all the time. You got to focus on your shit. I want to talk about a funny email we got from No. Oh, yeah, no. Good thing Joey just saved me on that one.
I'll tell you what, a guy that fucked some chick in an ambulance?
Yeah.
Nah, this better one's there. Let's give him something better.
That's his wife, though. He went on to marry her. I thought that was funny that he took
There's
a
gotta
picture
be
of their
something better
penis
than
and
put the
vagina
camera
and
in
with a disposable camera
I see that
they
you got
found.
back to them. Let's answer. There's got to be something better. That's
Really?
too easy. Yeah, it's too easy.
So what if it's too easy?
Because we have nothing to relate to it.
What do you mean we have nothing to relate to it?
Did you take a picture of your little picture?
No, but I got laid in
ambulance?
a cemetery once.
I
didn't. I just made that up.
Yeah, it's not.
But I've had sex in a weird space. We've talked about it.
We talked about it, but that was that's too easy for us.
Why? Then we
Go ahead,
have
talk
to.
about it. I don't care. Talk about
I just
it.
thought it was funny.
I just looked at it. It was funny, but we got nowhere to go with it. It was like
Absolutely,
one of the
we
ones
got
last
somewhere
week.
to go. Because you know what made me laugh about it? So he has the disposable camera that he found in the ambulance that belonged to the ambulance drivers, right? The ambulance was empty. They have sex in the ambulance. They hold on to everything because there's like knobs and handles all over the place. And it's all jiggling. They have the best sex in their life. And he eventually marries her. But then he takes a disposable camera, photographs him with the and the hee-hee, and puts the camera back. That's awesome. Because, the ambulance driver is going to go get it developed and be like, head wound, broken knee. You know what I mean? Overdose.
Too easy.
What the fuck?
It sounded too easy.
Oh, I don't think so.
It sounded too easy.
Well, you guys can let us know if that sounded too easy. But anyway, I liked it, Sergio. No. And, okay, then let's not do an easy one. Let's do this one.
That's what I'm saying to you, though.
I might have to give a shout out
There's action there.
to the youngest person that's emailed us who listens to the show. And I got to tell you, it gave me a little bit of anxiety because this person's 13 years old. What do you feel about that?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We're gonna get those. We're gonna get those.
Yeah. You don't feel
kids.
bad? I have little kids. I wouldn't want them listening to this.
Kids are going to be kids. And it's funny because somebody wrote us an email about how I'm not open to kids. Somebody wrote an email that was fucking brilliant. We got what we talk about. You follow me? That's what Rogan talks about on ambulance.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. He said that I was very close. You seen that email?
Oh, yeah.
You've seen that email.
Right.
That's fucking interesting that somebody picked it up, and it's so weird how kids are going to be fucking kids. What? I was a kid, so I understand. I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't lighting buildings on fire, but I knew the other side of the fucking railroad tracks.
You were buying Puerto Rican knives on 158th Street when you were 9.
I mean, but this was something that, when I was 13, there was a guy we bought weed from once in a great while. I told you about this. His name was Nelson. And he was unemployed. He was on disability or something. And some other dude went over there in the afternoon. They rolled joints, and he would always go get me weed in the city. Before I even knew anything about that stuff. Like, I knew about weed from the house. But he'd say, look, if you each give me $1, I'll let you come behind my house later. When I fuck my girlfriend, I'll leave the window open. Remember, I was telling you that story.
You told that story.
That's a fate of consequence. When you're 13, that's a jackpot. That's a jackpot. Wait, whoa. I give you $1. That's my milk money for the week. I give you $1, and you let me watch you fuck your girlfriend, like 5 of us back here. You know what I'm saying? That's kid shit. So the kid is 13. He's probably at home by himself, the reason why he listens to this shit, or his parents aren't paying attention to him. Okay? Now, let me ask you this. What would you rather the kid be doing? Out playing in traffic, or listening to the podcast at home like a nerd with the fucking computer on? You got to pick your battles in your mind.
Well, I'm going to say, if you're 13 years old and you're listening to Beauty and the Beast, you're not a nerd, number one. You're cool.
Well, whatever. You're at home with the computer.
But I do want to just say, because if he's listening, and if there's other listeners out there that are quite young, it just makes me nervous. I don't want you to take the wrong thing away from the podcast. And I know we've talked about that before, and we don't have to discuss it, but just understand that these are lessons learned. And I'm glad I had my experiences. I'm certainly could say that you're glad you had your experience.
I'm happy. I wish somebody that's 13 listens to this and goes, wow, that guy's 48. He's talking about this. He's a fat fucking knucklehead, whatever. But I see what the beauty in what he's saying. We got a lot of emails last week saying, listen, man, it's a brilliant podcast because you tell a story and then you tell the consequences from the story. I like that. This is the pro and the fucking con. I've never sat here and said, let me tell you what, Felicia, I robbed this fucking thing of coffee one time. I never said that to you. I tell you the story in the most modest way I could say it to you, and how bad I felt about it and how good I felt about it at the time. It's really weird how at the time you suck a dick and you feel fucking great about it. And then 10 years later you think back and you're like, wow, I sucked that dick. Anything. I'm just fucking saying, people. You look back at your life, and this kid that's 13 is going, wow, maybe my parents don't open up about this shit. Maybe I got to go elsewhere to find out little fucking tidbits. So I applaud you at one hand. I hope that you're taking this in one ear and it goes out the other, but what you are listening to is the beauty that we're trying to put out in this world that's really a fucking beast, because that's what this world is right now. And I know what it is to be home in the afternoons for 3 hours by yourself till your mom gets home.
Absolutely.
Or I know what it's like.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, dog. If you're sitting back then, if you're doing meth and listening to the podcast, I'm going to hunt you down, then stab you in the fucking neck.
You know what I wanted to say real quick? That we got a shout out from Ireland from Sean and David from Austin. That's all I wanted to say.
Beautiful. I love it.
We have great listeners, and we appreciate when you write us. And we also appreciate Skin Industries. Why don't you tell us about Skin Industries, Joey?
The leader in athletic apparel, you bad motherfuckers. They put out the Beauty and the Beast shirts for us. There's only a couple shirts left. So get them while they're hot. SkinIndustries.com. A leader in athletic apparel.
That's right. And to AdamandEve.com. Where's our check?
That's right, you dirty bitches. Checks. Where the fuck is the dildos and the nose piercings? They were supposed to send us a scratch and sniff.
And where's my triangular pillow that vibrates?
Guess the sniff and all that shit.
Guess the sniff.
It was a great week with you, Felicia.
It was a fun week. I'm glad this week was a fun week.
Like I said, I'm having some psychological problems lately with my one-man show. Once I put it up, I'll move on from this, and I can see what adjustments we need, and we can get this going. I love you, motherfuckers.
Goodbye.
Stay black.